Huh. Well, I guess I might as well get around to making this video then, huh? Okay, time to discuss the Invincible cosmetics in Fortnite. The Invincible collaboration was released November 24th, 2023. To start off this review, we'll start with the man himself. Okay, comparing this model to the show, it looks almost one-to-one. Given Fortnite decided to go with a more cel-shaded style for this, I still think it holds the look pretty fairly well. Very much surprised that they were able to implement the shin guard so well into the skin. But you can't see that they decided to buff Mark a little bit in the skin compared to the TV show and even the book sometimes, but I still think that's a fairly okay change for what we have. Next up is the Burger Mart bag, which is covered in sequids. This is a nice way to get a 2-in-1 reference of obviously the sequids and Mark's past job at Burger Mart. Up next is the Reaniman arm pickaxe, which is a reference to the Reaniman and is more based on the show design. Now onto the emotes. I'm counting this as an Invincible one. Feel It was made and produced for the Invincible Season 2 soundtrack, so I'm counting this. The next emote is Fastest Fastball, which is a reference to Nolan and Mark playing baseball in the comics and show. The only complaint I have with this emote is that it should have been a cooperative emote, and both players should have been able to use it, sort of like the fusion dance. And finally, Mark is the only character in this pack to get a wrap that's called Ironically Invincible, which gives any weapon Mark's color scheme. With the confirmation that we'll be getting more Invincible skins, if I had to go with the two I want to see, it would obviously be the black and blue skin, as that's Mark's current suit in the show. And because it's a personal favorite of mine, add the Sinister Mark that we first saw in Season 2 and then was expanded upon in Invincible War in Episode 7, Season 3. And now we're going to go with my Mark Grayson loadout. I give him the Meanwhile back bling, as I personally think this fits with the comic book nature of the skin, as well as its weird Mark carrying around sequids. That's just very strange. The next pickaxe I use is the Demolisher pickaxe that comes from the Incredible Hulk set. I think this works just because it's a piece of rubble Mark would pick up and use. It's also a direct reference to when Mark scars the Flaxen Leader, which is personally one of the best rivalries he has in the show early on. Up next is the Nimbus Cloud, which is to reference Mark flying throughout the clouds. It's the only one I can use since Epic doesn't have a flying glider for regular heroes. And next up, for the final thing, is Mark's contrail, which I personally gave him the Loose Threads contrail, which is a reference to issue 33, where we see him webbing on his back after his little business trip with Spider-Man. Mark overall is a 10 out of 10, and skin and design-wise, they brought over his likeness from the comic and show very well, so I have to give it 10s across the board. Overall, I think he's one of the best skins in this pack, but the one that looks just as good as him, or maybe even better, is our next character, which is... Looking over the Eve skin, they directly ripped her design straight from the show, and I gotta say, it's probably tied with Mark on being the most accurate. They didn't really make any changes to her design at all, besides adding a little bit of detail. Overall, I think this is probably up there with Mark being the best Invincible collaboration skin, and I want to see more like this skin. On to Eve's first back bling, which is Eve's cape. It's a cape that's built seamlessly into the skin, and looks really good. I prefer this out of all of her back blings. Next up is the Adam Eve logo cape, which I gotta say is probably the worst one out of her 3 back blings. I just do not like how it hangs off the skin, like at all. Next up is my second favorite Eve back bling though, the Emblem back bling, which I gotta say I like how the atoms swirl around her logo. That's really cool. So yeah, I gotta say this one's also a pretty good back bling, and it makes sense for this one to be hovering, unlike the other one. Weirdly enough, Eve's pickaxes are the subatomic blades, but these aren't seen until issue 91, like very, very far off into the future, like close to the comics like ending run, so I'm really confused why they gave them to her like this. I guess I get it, everyone needed a pickaxe and they picked one straight from the books, but it's just a very strange choice to give her something we're not going to see till season 6 or 7 maybe? Just a very strange choice for them to do. But overall, I have to say, Eve was a genuine surprise on how well they did her skin, and I gotta say, I'm really glad I have her as well. But now to talk to arguably the worst skin in this pack that I hate to say is bad. And that's Omni-Man. And some of y'all might be wondering, oh, there's no Omni-Man title card? No, he does not deserve a title card. I'm not going to go out of my way to get one made or find one for him. I'm like legitimately upset about the Omni-Man skin in this game, and I'm going to list my complaints right now. My two specific examples are going to be Doomslayer and Kratos. While these skins are technically the same size as other skins, they both have an imposing figure. They feel and look like they're supposed to. Omni-Man has been depicted in the show and in Mortal Kombat 1 as being a very buff, muscular, and intimidating character. And I do not feel that with the FORTNITE skin at all. Going over the model, it doesn't look bad, but it's just, there's something off about it that I'm really not a big fan of compared to like his Mortal Kombat 1 model or the model from the show. Well, maybe it's a good thing. They did do 2 out of 3 of the skins right, and me complaining about one is a little nitpicky and childish, I do have to admit. That's enough complaining about the skin though. I will have to say, for some reason, this Invincible collab, they cooked with the capes. Like, I don't know how or why they made them look so good on these skins, but they look phenomenal. Comparing the Omni-Man and Adam Eve cape to like the Batman skins or the Superman skins, this cape model looks amazing. Like, I do have to give them that. All of that goodwill immediately goes away whenever they put these ugly logo capes. Why did they add these? These are so ugly. Moving on to the funniest back bling. Now onto the funniest skin. It's gotta be Immortal as a back bling. Like, he didn't even get a skin. They made him a back bling. So I don't know if this like shuts him out being a skin down the road, but that's crazy. Imagine being a Guardian of the Globe and being reduced to nothing but a back bling. That's nuts. And finally, we're gonna go on to Nolan's pickaxe, which is War Woman's mace, and I gotta say, this is diabolical. This is probably the best one they could have added to this set, and I gotta say, it's probably the only pickaxe that makes sense, aside from the Eve one, but that's just way too early to show them. Man, oh man, oh man, if we're gonna talk about my actual favorite thing to come out of this collab, it's this art piece made by Ryan Otley. God, this thing is so awesome. Seeing the FORTNITE characters in his art style is very beautiful. The one thing I've noticed is, one, the Eve skin is not based on the show, it's based on the comics, which is very interesting. And I guess I can see why the skin for Omni-Man is so not buff and muscular, but it's still just very disappointing. Okay, since I was slow to the draw, I guess I do gotta talk about the new wave of skins. First up, we got Mark's blue suit, which, yeah, this is a no-brainer, and yeah, it looks great. I mean, this is probably Mark's best costume. Why would it not cook? Although, to be a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, I really do think they added the no gloves option for this suit simply to make it a FORTNITE art style skin, because in the comics, he has gloves on. Now comes the biggest sneak in the Invincible collab. Why would y'all pick Duplicate over Rex, Cecil, Battle Beast, Robot? It's just, this is a very strange choice. I mean, I would have taken Debbie over Duplicate. Like, Duplicate's like a third wave skin for real. But I'm not going to throw shade at my girl Shrinking Ray, who honestly deserves the W after what happened in season 3 episode 7. I will say though, know who this back bling would have worked with? It would have worked with Rex, someone she's in a relationship with. Real quick, time to talk about the next character that's going to be getting a skin, who I'm really excited for. I'm so excited that we're about to get our boy, the Unopin. Overall, I'm really glad Alan's getting a skin. He's definitely who I considered they were going to pick for Wave 2, but I have a feeling they're going to surprise us with one more character. That's usually how these go. You either get a 2-pack or a 3-pack. I think we're going to get a third character who I think is either going to be Rex or Robot. Overall, I think the Invincible cosmetics are really done very well. Aside from missing a few obvious characters, but hey, what can you do? I'm just hoping that as the show progresses, we will continue to get more and more popular characters. But hey, Epic, y'all could just keep on, working with indie collabs, like, indie comics, like give us Radiant Black and Spawn. That'd be pretty cool. Otherwise, this is the end of the video. I appreciate all of y'all for waiting patiently on this video. I know it was a long endeavor and long wait time, but the video is now out, and I'm glad to have made it for y'all. Okay, bye.